guide you into, fighting when they want you to fight. Number one, all of those guys there was working with Boss Man too. Number two, Boss Man then told them, you gonna move on Mukhtar. And then, but Boss Man, you don't know, Boss Man's dirty. He might have his snipers and Mukhtar and them waiting on them. If they go to get together, right, we're gonna move on them. They got them down pat, and they go and do something, and they burn them all. And then they say, see, there was a revenge attempt at it, da-da-da-da-da. And that's what I tell them. I say, you can't play with Boss Man. Boss Man is dirty. They think he's kind of dirty. They don't know he's absolutely dirty. See, so that's what we mean. You don't do nothing. And that's why I would tell everybody out there, I don't want nobody in this town to do nothing. Because this is all bigger than all of y'all, and you have no idea, right, how this game is being played. They just don't know. All right. So, now, if we had to grade ourselves on how we've been doing here, we'd have to give ourselves an A. We'd give ourselves an A, like on this comeback stuff. If we graded ourselves on how we have dealt with all of this, we would have to look at everything we have dealt with and everything that we deal with, right? And then we would have to measure how did we react in the environment that they produced for us to act in, right? They gave us the test. How did we do? We got an A. We got an A because you didn't make us do nothing. And you didn't have plan B. See, you look at them, they were so certain that they was going to, we'll come in at a certain period and we do this, they're gonna do this, that, and other, because all Negroes do that. And we didn't do it. Then they said, let's let's do that. And pretty soon, they have left their original plan, because their original plan was short range. We're not in it for the short range. And the longer they kept in this, the stupider they sounded, right? To the point that they look like they're trying to help you, they're so stupid, right? All the stuff arresting yours truly 8 times in a place and you got all this paperwork, and then saying to somebody, this man got guns and they don't have no guns, and it's all on the court record, right? Like they're trying to help you. And they take your wealth and pretend to give it to them. They don't give it to them. You think they gave that money to them? They ain't got a dime. The government just had them sign the paperwork for the count, for all of that. They failed because now they're making it up as they go. You're not making it up as you go. So you have to grade yourself on how did you act in this environment with the amount of resources that they used on you. Imagine everybody in California, all of those groups and everybody there, let's say, was the police. Or still is. They act like they followed it up, right? Okay, that's several groups. Then what about the others and the others and the others? All that means that in the United States, nobody has had the resources deployed against them that we have. No, absolutely nobody. Not even close. Not even close. And the time factor, not as long. So you have to remember, in this erasing history, we got all this stuff, you know, we call this the grand jury effect. In fact, we're going to have somebody copy, we had them copy all of our stuff before, you know, and put it on the little things that they have.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have them copy, and we'll talk about it later. But, and we'll do it every now and then. We have this set, and that set, and that set. Right. And what we're putting out to the public, right? The public is getting some of this. And according to how much they're getting, some of it is jumping over the fence. In other words, there's some people getting this that they don't want to get. They don't want them to get it. It don't take a whole lot. So when the research time comes, you got to remember, we've been thinking about this for decades, they can't erase it. Yeah, they're going to try to erase it. They go and shoot. When I pass away, they'll probably, a family will probably give them all the stuff at the house. And they went by trying to erase, trying to take, like the boxes of stuff I took, I said, take that. In my office out there, they took everything out of there, everything. All the Tafsir of Quran, all the copies of As-Sabiqun, all the records of remodeling and all the, not the record receipts. Huh? Receipts. They took all the receipts. That whole drawer stacked up with receipts. They took all of those. When I say they took them, that means somebody in my family gave them to them. Because I live in the back and it's hard to get back there. And the people living in the front and the people coming by from time to time, they had to give them that. Because they couldn't come back and get it, you know, unless somebody's giving it to them. Yeah. All of that stuff. So how do we grade ourselves? We have an A. We got an A. We got an A on this, straight A, and that's just from the general stuff. Some of it we have an A+, above and beyond the call of duty. So we're paying attention not to be erased, like the black cemeteries, not to be cut off, not to be isolated, like Hubert Harrison, right? That's why we do all these programs. That's why we, in fact, would like to get them duplicates. Why? Do some duplicates of them in hand and put them in different places, and there they are. You know, these stuff is so good, all somebody has to do is get one of them. And then they'll start looking, where's the rest of this? And the people better not say, we don't know what you're talking about. We don't have none of that. Just imagine how many people got some of this stuff from years ago at the Shia programs in Texas. The crew from Florida, I thought they was just trying to help me. They would come through and whatever I had left on the table, they would take them all. Took them all. Paying for them. Took them and dumped them. Problem. Except they kept one on Al-Bayt. You know, they like that. Sunni Imam talking about Al-Bayt, they like that. That was 2004 or so. But when I was in giving khutbah in the big show down in Houston, that was Houston. And I had a table out there, and I said, I was talking about our friend from California, I'll mention his name soon. And all the other stuff. I was telling the Shias, this is what you got going on, this was happening. And if you want to hear more, come right outside and on my table right there. I looked at this Pakistani guy, his eyes was going around in his head. He got up zipped out, and when I got to the thing, all of the CDs was gone, DVDs, all of them was gone. So I said, that was quick. So I went around and looked in everything, and there it was in the garbage. Yeah, it was, it's no problem, it's no problem. So we have had to deal with so many things, and we have enjoyed this work. You have to understand that this is enjoyable. And there's several things that people forget. When you have always been a meal ticket, you know, a meal ticket, you know, that anybody can get over on you. You just tell them, Big Hank is my cousin, and if you let me out of this jail, I'll make sure you get such and such. And I like being that. I don't be mad at the niggas, right? Because I can get them out of jail, and they can't tell nothing, right? Because I'm telling them everything right here. That's what psychological warfare is. You sit right there and tell them. And you're telling them 95, 98% the truth. I mean, the real hardcore truth. But you're not going to allow them to get hold to anything that's harmful, right? So you conserve a few percentage. Yeah. The longer you're in the game, the better. They call it a lot of names. The strategic depth, strategic this, that, and other. It gets good. And the weather don't mean nothing to us. It's the climate. What is the climate? When you come to a place and you study the climate, that's the way the climate is. If you're going to worry about whether it's going to rain today, whether it's going to be hot today, that's the weather. That's what they do. They're always talking about the weather, not the climate. You want to affect the climate. The climate is the history, right? And, hey, okay, so our oral history theft, that's one of the things the brother was talking about. I can give you some good examples. If you remember Dr. Khalid Siddiqui, what he said about us, that was in 96, man, that was a long time ago. What was that? 24 years ago. Yeah. Then why Dr. Khalid Siddiqui then said, why he go to the airport with me, and why everybody know who he's designated, right? And all of those people turn against you, the ones that should be helping. You could call it race. You could call it, and Dr. Khalid Siddiqui said, we have all been the victims of racism. And we know about race. But when this guy is saying what he's saying, hey man, it didn't look like we were beginners, right? I mean, I'm just paraphrasing. That's what he said. And he meant that on everything. On everything. That was just one subject. And everything we told them about what was going on. I remember we went back once and we told them a lot of stuff was happening to the Indians to make them hate the Africans. And I told them, you have to get to Africa. To South African Africa. See, any mistake you want them to make, they're going to make it. So you go there, last time I was there, you go in the Masjid, you have brothers from Malawi, they're Muslim, and they're human, so nice. And they're nice people too. If you have a South African in your house, he's going to tell his family what you got in your house, and they're going to come and rob you. Unless you bring them to Islam. That's what I was telling them. You got to bring them to Islam. When I was there in 96, when I was getting ready to leave, I would always, the servants, They might have a servant as a babysitter, a servant to do the laundry, servant for the food. So I've been there a month. So I'm going to give them $50 each. But this, $50 ain't going to hurt me. It ain't going to, I can't do nothing with it. Let me have it and I'll. And these guys are the richest guys over there. You know. So next time I didn't tell them I was going. So each place I would stay, I would leave the sisters, you know, a nice little piece. To them, it's a nice little piece of change. And when I would leave them a nice little piece of change, and they get a new servant, I would still, in the town around there, I would see those girls going, hey, you know. I left them a little hookup. So I'm trying to tell them, you don't have people in your house, you got to treat them different than y'all treat them. And y'all are the good guys. I said, don't you see? I remember the bigger the houses, man, I'd see, they're there all week. And so the lady has got the servant in the back seat, they're going to take them home for one day. And they don't see the faces. The ladies, man, it's just, they can't stay in the car hardly. They're so happy to get home. Because they done took care of their kids all that time, and they're going to get one day at home. I said, so that's what my lectures was about your system. You're benefiting from all of that. So you got to help, you reach up and get that bigger stuff up there, and you help them move on up. I don't care how hard it's going to be. It's going to be hard. Because they don't know the rules of business. So if they make $100 in the store, all packed with stuff, they think they're going to spend $100. And they're not going to save 80 of it to go buy, to re-up. Because they ain't got it in their mind to do that. You're going to have to teach them. And you're going to have to, in other words, after a revolution, hey man, it's really hard. That's what I was telling them. They didn't want to hear it. Every time I would come back, guys would have bandages on their head, people was going in their houses, robbing them. Because see, after apartheid, everybody got weapons and all of that, and the Indians got all the money. They're not going to go rob white folks. Maybe want to do, but they're going, who's working in the house? All the Indians have black people working in their houses, and they got cousins that steal and rob. So they go right out, and they know this. Man, I go back and they'd have big bandages on their head, or they got beat upside the head. They would kidnap them. I mean, they would do it by the numbers. I said, you got to bring them to Islam. That's the only way. It's the only way. You got to hear what the Aga Khan said in '57 when they was freeing up East Africa. Now you have to protect yourself, talking about the Indian people. Because with freedom, it's going to come, they're going to blame everything, and that's what they did. South Africa, man, the Indian, the Muslim population helped to liberate the, hey man, all the lawyers, you can see a Fatima, this, that, right? It would be the lawyers. The ANC, all the money. And then, not to change the subject, but the ANC, all of the and I was telling my friends, my last trip there, you got to, well actually every time, but you can't put your hope in the ANC. What are you talking about? I said, the ANC. I said, their main problem is that they're a revolutionary group, and they've never ran anything. And then I'm not against black people, but they niggas. They're niggas. And you just see it everywhere in Africa, right? So I know what I'm talking. I said, they're gonna bring some pink underwear, some red cloth, and they're gonna bring them yellow Benz. And that's it. That's it. And all the revolutionaries, just like in Kenya, the Mau Maus. When I was there, was all highway robbers. They was out because Jomo Kenyatta, the burning spear, did not reward them for their great sacrifices. He didn't reward them. So in the 70s, the highway robbers and stuff like that, a lot of them were still Mau Maus. That did all the stuff they did in the 50s, that took the brunt, and the people in charge was the ones that got rid of, that tried to get rid of the Mau Maus. It's just unbelievable. Okay, so it don't take no brains to think, okay, the ANC, and the ANC would be against the PAC, Pan-African Congress. One settler, one bullet. And then, can you type up Kibla, South Africa, and see what comes up? Kibla movement, South Africa.
Okay.
It was in the Kibla movement, if it comes up. Okay, the Kibla movement was revolutionaries. This is during our time, we know them all.
Okay, yeah, I think I found it. I was trying to find one that was less negative, because you know the white man up at the top of the list, he has all the listings. Kibla, radical Islamic movement in South Africa.
Of course, that's,
don't try
to find nothing now.
Okay, all right.
No, go right, that's what I
go
wanted.
straight to it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because this is more about the founder, Ahmed Kassim. Yeah, Kassim, sorry, they spell it different.
No, they spell it different. Ahmed Kassim.
Okay,
from
all
Cape
right.
Town.
Yeah.
He's the youngest guy on Robben Island. He was on Robben Island with Nelson Mandela and them.
Okay.
Now he's somewhere like my age, but he was.
Yeah, that's
No, that's enough.
That's enough. Yeah.
Okay, Kibla movement. I have pictures of Ahmed Kassim.
Right.
I have.
Because they also, Google also has them listed under Paget. Were they affiliated?
Oh,
okay, all right.
Now we're on